The lunch rush was finally over. Emma wiped down the last table in the corner of the little diner where she'd been working double shifts for weeks. Her sneakers were worn thin, her apron smudged with coffee stains, but she managed a smile as a family thanked her on their way out. She needed the tip, every single dollar. Rent was due in 3 days, and her younger brother back home had texted her just that morning about needing money for his textbooks. Emma often felt like she was carrying the world on her shoulders, but she never let it show to her customers. As she bent down to pick up a napkin under a booth, her eyes caught something wedged between the seat cushions, a black leather wallet, heavy. She flipped it open cautiously. Inside was a neat stack of cash, at least a few $100s. Her breath caught when she saw the shiny platinum credit cards tucked inside, and then a driver's license with a name she recognized from billboards and business magazines, Daniel Whitmore, the CEO, the billionaire developer who'd been all over the news for a huge real estate deal downtown. Emma's stomach knotted. A wallet like this could pay her rent, cover her brother's books, and still leave something left over for groceries. No one had seen her pick it up. She could quietly keep it, and no one would know. But she shook her head, pressing her lips together. Her mother's words echoed in her mind. Doing right when no one's watching is what proves who you really are. So she walked straight to the manager, handed over the wallet, and asked that it be returned to its owner. She didn't even leave her name. 2 days later, Emma was serving coffee to a new customer sitting quietly in the corner booth. He wore a baseball cap pulled low, but there was something familiar about him. When she set down his plate, the man looked up and her breath caught. It was Daniel Whitmore himself. "Emma, isn't it?" he asked gently. She blinked. "How do you know my name?" He smiled faintly. "Because I asked. My wallet found its way back to me here, no money missing, no cards touched. And when I asked your manager who had turned it in, he said it was you." Emma's cheeks flushed. It was nothing, really. Anyone would have done the same. Not anyone, Daniel said softly. Most would have seen it as a stroke of luck. He paused, studying her. "Why didn't you keep it?" Emma hesitated, then shrugged. "Because it wasn't mine, and I guess I just want to sleep at night knowing I did the right thing." Daniel leaned back, eyes thoughtful. "Tell me something, Emma. If you could do anything at all, what would it be?" She laughed nervously. "Honestly, I'd go back to school. I had to drop out to take care of my brother after we lost our parents. I've always wanted to study business, maybe start something of my own one day, but dreams like that." She trailed off, embarrassed. They cost money. Daniel didn't press further. He simply finished his meal, left a generous tip, and walked out with a polite nod. Emma figured that was the last she'd ever see of him. A week later, an envelope arrived at the diner with her name on it. Inside was a letter on Whitmore Enterprises letterhead. "Dear Emma, kindness like yours is rare, and it deserves to be invested in. Enclosed, you'll find a scholarship covering tuition and living expenses for any accredited program you choose. Consider it my way of thanking you for reminding me that integrity still exists in this world. Yours sincerely, Daniel Whitmore." Emma's hands trembled as she pulled out the check. It was more than enough to cover her education. Tears welled in her eyes, not just because her dream was now possible, but because a simple act of honesty had rewritten her future. Years later, when Emma stood in her own office as the founder of a nonprofit, helping underprivileged youth pursue higher education, she often told the story. "Do the right thing," she'd say with a smile, even when no one's watching. "You never know whose life, including your own, it might change." And every time she spoke those words, she silently thanked the man whose lost wallet had turned her kindness into a destiny she never dared imagine.